Another Ousmane Sembene film. But of course, Borom Sarret is a 1963 movie by Ousmane Sembene that follows a man who owns a wagon and is trying to make money, offering people rides. This 18-minute film is a breathtaking view into Sembene's critique of life during post-colonial Dakar. This movie opens up with a scenic view of Dakar. Cars, cyclists, roads, they fly by as the camera captures a modern glimpse into Dakar in post-colonial life. A prayer is heard during this portion that eventually ends with a scene of a man in a poor region of the city getting ready to go to work. His wife is working behind him and only stops to give him some food as he continues his journey. As he travels through his neighborhood, we see scenes of a different part of Dakar. This one is much more rundown. There is no paved roads, not a lot of cars, the buildings are dilapidated, and people aren't as well dressed. And I did find it really interesting that at the beginning, when the man is kind of praying against, asking Allah for protection against the infidels, that part is over the much more developed or so-called developed part of Dakar, almost as if to say, please protect me from them. And as you watch this film, you'll see at the end why he does ask for that protection. He doesn't get it, but he does ask. So as the story unfolds, we see some really interesting dynamics pop out, mostly around the cart driver and his relationship with the people around him. And he complains constantly that they can never pay him. And in many ways, you can understand why he's complaining. He's trying to make money. He has a family at home to feed. He's take care of himself. And the people are kind of content just to use him. But on the other hand, I remember watching this and kind of looking at him strange, like, you are so silly and so ridiculous, because why would you keep showing up for people who have no intentions of ever creating a reciprocal relationship with you? But as I watched the film, I was like, oh, I see what's happening here. You're getting powergasm out of this. You are much more content with being in a position of power. You have this cart, even though you all go to the same neighborhood and all in the same area and all starving, and truly he's like one squeaky wheel away from being in the same situation as they are. He still shows up. And again, it's about power, it's about privilege, it's about how we can kind of lord his privilege and access over other people. Though there is pity at the beginning and there is a bit of understanding, I think it's more of a understand that he's above them. And I do mean that literally and figuratively. Like, as he's sitting on the cart, he's literally above people. He's elevated against all these people. And he has the power to say no. And we only really see him say no when the disabled man comes up and asks for help, as if to say that there are people even below him that he can say no to. And I think this film has a lot to say about communal life, and I highly recommend that you watch it and kind of compare what life in post-colonial Dakar looks like to life even here in Mi'kmaq or wherever you're from. Because my article that I wrote is literally part one of many. There's almost too much to say. In my article, I talk a lot about community life here, about charity models, about mutual and direct aid, and what does it mean to be in community with people who are much more interested in using you and kind of discarding you, but also the idea of when you are giving aid and giving support, what it looks like to be privileged and looking down on others. And as I was watching this film, I kept thinking about community life. I kept thinking about the similarities between post-colonial Dakar to our society now. What does it mean to be in this late-stage capitalistic society? What does it mean to be struggling like the way we are, and also still having these really weird power struggles between each other within communal spaces? What does it mean to be of the same socioeconomic situation as other people with just a little bit of privilege, a little bit of access, and how that can easily be exploited by others around us, but also how we can use that against each other to essentially put ourselves above each other? I kept thinking about direct aid, I kept thinking about mutual aid, I kept thinking about our society and our helper class, as in the nonprofit structure and the charity model, and how evil that is and how you really see it here. The cart to me represents this idea of charity model, where you don't really necessarily understand the people that you're helping. You just kind of do whatever you want to do and treat people awfully and make them jump through hoops, sometimes even run after the cart like he does in the film. There's so much to say about community within this film, and I highly recommend anybody who has 18 minutes to sit down and watch this, because it is a superb film that says so much about community. I literally wrote more than one article about this. I have a part one up right now, but there's so much more to say. And I think, again, this is a lot about Ousmane Sembene and his positioning within the African cinema world. He, in my opinion, is really the father of cinema. There's so much he has brought up in conversation, and when I write the part 2, I'll share it as well. But highly recommend anybody who likes film or anybody who just wants to have more deeper conversations about community to watch this film. But anyways, excited to learn more about African art, excited to watch more films, and I'll see you in the next video.